Salut tout le monde! This is the first video of our Chantology series where we will go over a chant every week for the upcoming Sunday for the traditional Latin Mass. We'll go into detail, some tricks, some tips I'll give you to get you into the mind of a singer singing these chants. Intended for people who sing the Latin Mass, but also if you have any interest in Gregorian Chant or music theory in general, this is a great place to start. So, 7th Sunday after Pentecost, the Introit. Let's begin. On y va. So, when I'm looking at a chant, the first thing that I look at is not the music, but this number right here. 6. In this case, it's 6. There are 8 Gregorian modes, and this chant is written in mode 6. Now, if you're unfamiliar with modes, there are 8 modes, and think of modes as flavors. There's certain characteristics that make mode 6 sound the way it is. Okay, so there's 2 things that I do when I look at that number to prepare for me to sing this chant. The first thing I do is I skip this antiphon. I skip it entirely, and I don't even look at it. I go straight to the psalm, where I can look at the psalm and start singing the psalm, because the psalm is really easy to sing. Or instead of singing the psalm, you go straight to the Gloria Patri. I think singing the Gloria Patri is actually a lot better. And so it's first of all, thanks to Institute of Christ the King for this music that's free online. And later we'll see, thank you to the Parish Book of Chant, which is also online for free. So in this is the full version of the Gloria Patri. It's one of those things that you hear all the time. So Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto. So right away, I have that in my brain. I know that really well. It gives me an outline of what this chant should sound like. So the first thing I do is I skip to the psalm tone. I skip to the psalm and start singing the Gloria Patri. Or you can sing this song. The second thing I do after that, if I still need something that will help me get into this flavor, this mode 6, is I think, what other chants are in mode 6? And when I think of one, I immediately think of the Requiem, and I start singing it, or at least start thinking about it. Requiem aeternam. And this gives you a good foundation as to what the antiphon Omnis Gentis should sound like, or at least gives you some idea of it. Okay, so 2 things: look at the psalm tone, and then think of a hymn, a chant that has similarities to tone 6 or whatever tone you're talking about. So then let's get into the actual chant. So there are three pitches in every mode that are really important. And the first one is called the final, which is funny because we're talking about the first one, but we're talking about the last thing in the entire chant. So the final is the last note of the antiphon, which is right here. And looking at our do clef, which sits on the top line, if we count down, this is do. So do, ti, la, so fa, that's fa. So this chant, chants always dance around the final, or at least go toward the final. If you think of a chant like a journey, like you're going someplace, there's always a destination, right? So the destination at the end of every chant is to get to the final. Meanwhile, there's phrases, before that will get somewhere else. But okay, so then the next one that's pretty important is the dominant. So the dominant is the recitation pitch of the psalm tone. So again, the chant dances around the final, but it also dances around the dominant quite a lot. So the dominant, let's go back to the Gloria Patri, because that gives us a good outline. So the recitation pitch, Gloria Patri et Filio, recitation, recitation, this is the pitch right here, so that's La. And if you sing the Divine Office, if you sing this, the Divine Office in psalm tones, you're very familiar with this recitation pitch because it's probably the most sung pitch of the psalm verses. So again, these pitches, this chant dances around all these pitches. So here's the dominant La. So here's the line La. Okay, so then the last pitch that's kind of important is the mediant. And the mediant is, in this case, Re. So if you notice, here's Re, this bottom line here. Notice that these phrases end on the mediant. At least these two right here. So, like I said, every psalm tone is different. So if you're in tone 7, you're going to have completely different pitches as your final dominant and mediant. Tone 6 being an authentic cadence. If you're good with music theory, Re, La, and Fa, if you just look at it, it's basically a triad, a minor triad technically, but that's way too much music theory. Okay, let's just get to this chant. So this one's actually a pretty simple one, but I want to point out one common mistake that happens is right here. It's easy to sing this pitch, which should be T. It's easy to sing it as Te. Now, what do I mean by that? So suppose that in, let me get the piano out. Okay, cool. Suppose that this is F. So we start in F, right? As Fa. Do, 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 do. It's easy to just think that this is a flatted note. But it's not. This is actually a half step right here. Jubilate. So just make sure that if you're singing by yourself or with other people, that is a half step. From Do to T is a half step, right? Other than that, this is a really, really straightforward chant. Let's just go ahead and sing it. So I'm starting on F. Notice that we were hanging out on the final and dominant, and then we ended on the mediant, which gives a really cool flavor. Laudite manibus. Again, we ended on a mediant. Jubilate Deo. Ending on the final. In voce exultationis. And of course, ending on the final. So this one's pretty straightforward. That's about it. So if you have any questions, leave a comment, send me an email. I'll put all that information on the description. Subscribe, hit that bell icon, like this video, share this video, and we'll talk about the... and also send me if you have any questions about sacred music, I'm compiling a Q&A, some Q&A's videos. We're going to start doing those. So the first one we're going to do, hopefully this week, will be why chant notation versus modern notation when singing chant. There's too many people who are trained musicians that learn modern notation. Sometimes it's preferred to read it that way initially, but there are definitely some advantages of singing chant in the notation that you see right here. So that would be it. Thank you to Institute of Christ the King for that music. Thank you to the Parish Book of Chant. And I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.